Welcome to the Safe Space Running Podcast, where we're here to enable, encourage, and empower those. I am so happy. I don't think you understand how happy I am to have my next guest here today, Jimmy Christine. I have been following you for quite some time, my friend. We've connected a couple different times, but I'm truly honored and pleased to have you on today's episode. How are you doing?
Chris, I am so excited to be here, man. I have been following you for a while. You are growing the running community, just like I'm trying to do myself, to provide access to tips, recommendations, guidance to all runners to get better. And that's what it's all about, man. I'm so excited for
Awesome.
today.
Awesome. So I do know, just before we get into topic, that you just had a really successful Philly marathon. Give us some details to that and how you just went out there and just destroyed it, just left flames on the trail and everything else. How was that for you?
Thank you, man. It was a very, very good race, not just for a time, which I will share as well, but I've never raced with anybody as well. So mile two, I actually met up with not one but two people who I've met through social media because I post a decent amount, and we shared
Wow.
upwards of 16 miles together.
Oh, that's
Really
cool.
helped the push, man. Philly's my hometown. I'm about 45 minutes outside the city, but for a hometown race probably had like every other mile someone cheering for me, whether I knew them, friends, family, other people. Like, so special. And it was like the perfect weather, and all that turned into a PR. We ran 2:46:20, so good enough for
Cooking.
you. And yeah, pumped about it.
That this is not your first BQ. How many BQs have you qualified for?
So I've run 12 Boston qualifying races, done 51 marathons in my time over the past 6 years. Actually, Philly 2019 was my first, and I just dove all in to it. So it's been awesome.
Needless to say, you are truly phenomenal, but you don't need me to tell you that.
Thank
So,
you, man.
I wanted to, again, as part of this series for a coaching series, wanted to, as we've got for the previous episodes, we're highlighting different coaches who are active in the community and who are providing guidance to those around them. So, I wanted to ask you, what is your why for coaching? What got you into coaching for your community?
Oh, thanks for asking that, Chris. So, my why in general is to inspire others to be the best version of themselves and to see that and realize that they are capable of more. And through my life, through career, through personal, through hobbies, everything like that, I found running to be the outlet in which I can make the most impact towards that vision and mission and my why. Coaching was clearly the number one way I could do that at an individual level, and I felt that I could make the most impact. So I did get my ISSA certification, went through the
Nice.
courses, got that certification done, and picked up a few coaches. And man, it's nothing makes me more excited, I'm sure, as you know, and feel like as a coach, just to play a small part in someone else's success. That to me makes me feel so good and make sure that I'm helping to grow my community in the best that I can.
I love that you have that. That it's like because you mentioned it when we was in Sydney as well, or not Sydney, Chicago is
Yeah.
capable of more. I think it's so crucial for coaches to really look at the athletes and help to encourage them that they are capable more than what they can expect. I think that's the beauty of the coach and athlete relationship is
Mm.
coaches have the special ability to really pull things out of us that we didn't expect. I even though I coach as well, I have a personal coach from my side, and I found that for the past year and a half that I've worked with him, there are expectations that I never would have guessed. But as coaches, he already had that sight, and I believe you also have the same for the athletes that you work with in the community that you're involved in. For my question for you for our main topic, again, you are pretty seasoned in this marathon business, give or take. You've been 51 deep into marathons, which is crazy, but amazing at the same time. And you've made different. I've seen your different posts about different race day strategies,
Mhm.
and I think race day is oftentimes our litmus test of where our fitness is at and things of that nature. Sometimes we put a lot of weight to them. Sometimes we test what we really have. So my question to you is, for your race day strategies, what do you employ for yourself during your races, and how do you incorporate that into the athletes that you train and work with?
The best question I think I've ever been asked on an interview, right? Because that's kind of like, the secret sauce of, what's this guy about to say to help me get a PR, right?
Hmm.
In my race. So two things for when I coach and for myself. There's two sides of it, and I think probably every coach would agree. there's a physical and a mental component of it, right? You have to work backwards from a goal, create a, strenuous enough training plan with the speed work, with whatever, depending on your goals, right? To be able to give yourself a chance to get there. And I'll get into it because I know we're going to talk a little bit about what first time coaches could possibly do, but that's step
Hmm.
one, right? Make sure that the plan is rigorous enough to be able to hit who you're going for, if that includes yourself, their A or A plus goal, even something they might not think that they're capable of. But really, where the secret sauce, if you will, is the mental side of it. I've lost so many races for myself personally by getting to the start line, questioning if I could hit that time.
Mm.
Transparently, man, that's where I lost it, because when it gets hard, because every race that you do, no matter if you're going for a time or not, it's going to get hard. And if you're not confident and know that you can hit that A plus goal, or at least you have a chance, mile 18, mile 22, mile, whatever it is, or if you're even running a 5K towards the end, your mind is going to quit before your body does. It
Mm.
100% will. So my vision for myself and the people that I coach, confidence, 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 confidence and self-reflection, not if not daily, at least weekly, on the wins and the successes. I mean, there's so many times, and I know I might be going on a tangent here, but like, the last long run before your big race, it wasn't good. And you're like, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, you can, and you have the ability to, because you've trained your butt off the entire
Hmm.
time. But you have to get to the starting line with confidence, and you have to be at that starting line, like knowing that, hey, I am able to do this. And then there are a few other strategies that I have for mid race, but would love to pause there because I did give you a lot.
No, no. I mean, that's. I think because you have such a depth of knowledge into this experience, and I think that mental aspect is so crucial. Me personally speaking, I've been doing halves now for about 12, 20, 12, 15 years and running before that. But then my marathon game just started maybe within the past year and a half, and I feel like the mental aspect is so much that we can do with the right mindset. And I think that there is so easy for us to psych ourselves out and not even give ourselves a chance before the gun fires off at the start line. And I think going in, that point you made about, having defeated races before you start is something that we can help to, for those listening, if you ever had those kind of struggles, is going into that line believing in yourself and having that confidence and trusting in your training, trusting, as you mentioned. I like the idea that you said, working backwards from the goal. Have your goal, but then work backwards to ensure that you have a strategy to get you to that goal. It's one thing to set a goal, it's another thing to work towards that goal and actually follow up and show up, most importantly. So I thought those were really, really good. I mean, do you have any other, I mean, we get any other words of wisdom to that? I mean, I'm soaking
Yeah.
it all in.
So I got three tips that I think anyone could use no matter what type of race that you have. So to that first one of like,
Hmm.
yeah, I got to believe in myself. I got to have confidence. Well, like, how do you actually do that? It's three words. It's act as if. Act as if you've done it. Visualize yourself doing it the night before, the weeks leading up, knowing that I hit that goal time, whatever it is. Imagine yourself wearing the medal
Mm.
and being proud. Visualization does so much for you. 100%. Number two would be it's something I call confidence without expectations. So we already talked about the confidence, like getting yourself super confident that you are able to hit the goal. And it's not completely dropping expectations, but it's accepting a range. So I'll give you an example. For Philadelphia, I had an A plus plus goal of 245.
Hmm.
I knew on the best day I could probably go 243 if I, had everything working for me, or it
Yeah.
could be 255 or 3. Like that's my range of outcomes. And then things could really go bad and it could be way worse, but I don't tie myself anymore to one specific number. And I think that's
Mm.
really, really important for runners, because that number gets so in your head. And even mid race, if you realize that you're not on track for that specific number,
That.
you might throw your race out the door right there. But if
Yeah.
you have a range, you're like, okay, I can hit this range. I have that ABC goal, right? So that's number two. And then number three, which is my favorite thing, and I hope everyone uses it if they might need it in any single race. You probably heard this one, but it's the three lifelines. It's mind, breath, and legs.
Hmm.
Any point in a race, you will always have at least one of those lifelines. And I'll just give the example, right? So if you're feeling like you can't do that in your mind, Your breathing is hard. You just focus on your legs. You focus on one step at a time. Use your legs to push you through that next quarter mile. If your mind's going out the door and your legs aren't, focus on your breathing. Do some breathing patterns. Just focus on your breathing and let that guide you. And then if the
Yeah.
breathing and the legs aren't working out, focus on your why. Use your mind. Think about all the people that you're making proud, including yourself. So those are my three strategies. I use them in every single race to this day, no matter if I'm going for a PR, helping a friend, doing whatever.
I like, it's funny because I used that three lifelines. You know where I learned that from? You. I definitely, I saw one of your posts about it. I'm like, that's not a bad idea. And one of the races I had, I thought it through. I'm like, my chest is about to burst out and my head is like, I don't want to be here. I'm sick of this mess, but I'm like, I still got my legs. So let's give this a shot. I think it's really cool because it helps you really kind of focus in on the area that's being successful rather than worry more so much on the things that are falling apart. Because real talk, as you said, most of those races, especially marathon, at some point it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a rough one. But I like those three lifelines, and again, there's a lot of things that you shared with that too. Really, I like the range perspective. I tend to tell the athletes that I've worked with, both coaching and in advice, is to always give yourself that grace and understand that race day is just race day. Fitness is not measured in a single day. And sometimes there are measures and things you can't control, but your fitness is measured over that period of time of training, of working hard for it, of getting to that point. And come race day, you do the best you can and give yourself, I love that confidence with lower expect, not necessarily saying like you have to go, drop all your expectations, not go for it. But I think that goes along with just giving your body that grace to be okay with if you can't hit your A or B goal or whatnot, be okay with going in with the confidence of being still successful. Because last I checked, 26 is still 26. A mile is still a mile. A 5K is still a 5K no matter how you spin it. So
That's
those
right.
are really, really good points. And then my last question for you would be what would be one thing you would like to share with new coaches or athletes that like to share with other fellow runners or walkers? What would be one thing you would pass off to them as they explore that?
Yeah, for any new coach coming on, and who knows how out of date this thought might be at some point, but it's funny that I've been thinking about this. If I was just getting into the coaching space right now, I know so many people that I've spoken to, and nowadays it's so easy to go to ChatGPT to create a 12-week Philadelphia Marathon training plan. It's so easy to pay $20 to to get a decent program. And I'm not knocking any of those at all. Like, depending on what your goals are, most of it, I would say, for completion of this, and you do these type of training plans, you're probably going to get where you want. Injury risk is definitely high, and I've seen that unfortunately with a few people, specifically that I've known and possibly would work with as well. Where we differentiate ourselves as coaches, like you think about the elites, Connor Mans, Clayton Young, the Olympians, they all have coaches. The physical coach is never going to go away. And if they could just get what they needed through a chat GPT or a runner, they wouldn't have
They
a
would.
coach.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to like the first question we talked about. It's the mental side. It's the confidence. It's adjusting, right? It's like, so some of the apps do adjust your pace and everything, but a coach that has got a certification who knows what's best for you to give you those A, B, and C goals to define your range, to change your speed work on the day. That's what's going to get you to where you need to be, not just now, but in the future. And especially for injury prevention, because I do feel like a lot of people, like Chris, if you were, someone who's like, hey, I could just make a 12-week plan on ChatGPT. Well, I got to know, have you ever run before? What's your base? You could do that, but there's a good chance if you've never run before, a 12-week plan isn't going to work for you and you're probably going to get injured. So we should do a 16 or 20 week, and we should literally build in like a week or two or three of like walk runs. ChatGPT isn't going to tell you that, neither is running, right? So that's our benefit as coaches of understanding and having the context and the background. And I'd say a little bit unfortunately now as like a physical coach, we have to prove that value and the why versus like, because it's so easy to like, I can go get a plan and sign up for a plan in like a minute.
That's that right there is key for the relationship between coach and athlete. It's a relationship, and it's tough to have that. As you mentioned, there are a lot of plans. I started a lot with, basic plans myself when I first started learning and started passing. But oh, here, follow this plan, follow this one here, and that works for a good audience. But I think that there comes a point in time for certain athletes, as you mentioned, maybe first timers. Not every Another coach mentioned this as well. Not every plan fits everybody. And I think the beauty of having that coach athlete relationship is that you get to tailor something specific to your needs, specific to your goals, specific to your life. One thing that I really always try to keep in mind with the athletes that I've worked with now is, what is their life like? What is their work-life balance? What is their running balance? Because your mental game can still play into your workouts. If I got to work 12-hour day and then you expect me to run 10 miles, nah, I ain't doing all that. But, it's just the beauty. And that's where plans may have you do that. And that may work for some, but the beauty of having that relationship with a coach is that you can tailor it specifically to where you are and build that rapport with your coach to where you get to learn one another and trust one another. So I like that. I'm definitely taking that back with me, and hopefully those who are watching will also as well. But Jimmy, it's always a pleasure talking with you and chatting with you, my guy. I'm always enamored with what you do for not only your personal races, but for the community, with the renegades that you lead back home, the different communities that you've impacted, and your journey into your own running, and the fact that you also expand your journey to share what you've gone through, but to also help encourage and empower others as well. So I, for one, want to thank you for what you do for the running and walking community, and appreciative of you as a friend, and appreciative of you as a person and as a running athlete. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Chris, thank you for doing this. You are setting a platform, you are setting an example to, again, enhance our running and walking community, to give people access to the opportunity of information, to be better, to push their goals and inspire themselves and other people, man. And that is what it's about. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you soon in one of these courses, man. Pleasure again to speak with you, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you.